what we shifted, what we believed to be true and possible, we also could see so much more opportunity and ways to get there. Once we shifted that, we had this big shift in our goal. We're going to get to this size, and from there we can have this impact. We saw lots of different ways to get there that were right in front of us that we weren't even seizing, or we were limiting ourselves so much. There's all these things we had in front of us that we weren't using or taking advantage of. And a lot of these things everyone has access to. We could leverage where we were in that point in time just through that.
We had a goal, and I was saying to myself, we're actually moving along quite nicely here. We're sort of really gaining on this goal. We're going to be there shortly. And then it wasn't until we sort of reevaluated that goal and made it a lot bigger that I went, actually, I could have been working way harder. I could be doing way more to work for this bigger goal, because it sort of changed the perspective. Originally looking like we were making good progress, and then when the goal changed, it's like, actually, we need to like triple this productivity to really push towards the goal. And it maybe sounds like a bad thing, but it was actually a really good thing, because I feel like I was not doing enough before. And now that the goal is so much higher, I realize how much time I actually have to put in to work towards that. Sort of changed.
You shifted what you believed to be possible, and your actions reflected that. You had to become the person who had that result already as well.
Yeah,
comes to there too.
It's not that I didn't believe it was possible, it's just that I wasn't even trying to do that.
Yeah.
That wasn't my...
Well, the goal wasn't even... Yeah, I never thought it was impossible either. But our actions just completely reflect what our goal was. And our goal was what we allowed ourselves to believe was reasonable and realistic as a non-commercial gym with, if you looked at exactly what we had and where, instead of saying what can be done to reach this, like your thoughts will only reflect what you believe to be true. And we were just believing that much lower number was a good goal for us, and that it was realistic, and it didn't scare us at all. It was like, we just keep going at this rate, we're going to hit it. Like, we just keep doing what we're doing, instead of now that we have to. The goal is so much higher. We're thinking so much bigger of what this place could be. We're doing so much more.
Yeah, it's
to get there. We're at, what do we need to hit to get this now? It's like, we need to fucking do this. This needs to happen now.
It was almost not even a goal. It was more just like extrapolating the numbers we already had and saying, by this time we should be here. Yeah, that's a good goal. Let's stick with that. It wasn't even a goal. It was just an estimation of what was going to happen if we stayed at the same rate.
And it was back to potential. We were just completely looking on past evidence and what to be possible based on past evidence and current rate of growth, and not allowing ourselves to think things could go a lot faster. And that's just the way it is with what we've been doing now. Like, we're doing really good. We've got this, but there's levels, But if you don't believe in that potential, your actions are going to reflect that. If you decide you're going to do something, you're going to find ways of getting there.
Yeah, and then if you are seemingly on track to hit that goal, why work any harder? You're well on your way. You're making your required numbers. It's like, there's no need to work any harder because I'm going to reach the goal.
Yeah.
At this current rate of investment.
It's comfortable.
Yeah.
It's just comfortable. And when we made that shift, we were like, holy fuck. But there's that uncomfortableness of all right, this goal has changed. Right now we have no idea how we're going to get there. We just know we're going to find a way. And there's all this excitement, straight away we were like, fuck yeah, we're coming in, and we're like, I did this and this today, and we got really excited again. We found this passion. It was crazy, the shift of just this one conversation that just pivoted us in a completely new trajectory. It was not just the number, actually feeling, we had to feel that and believe it to be true, and that is going to happen no matter what hurdles will come up along the way. It's just have faith that you remain calm and figure it out as you go.
Yeah,
I guess
it's much more exciting having the thought of achieving something that almost scares you a little bit, when you think, I could be this successful, or I could achieve this thing that not many people have done, and then you really think about it and think, why couldn't I do that? There's no reason why I couldn't. It would require a lot of work and dedication, but there's nothing physically stopping me from achieving that. And then you get, I got pretty excited. Got a lot more excited to start working, to really chip away at it consistently, and it keeps you going too. It's a really good motivator to have that goal that makes you excited. Like, you think about that again and again when things are hard and when you're not as motivated, keeps you going a bit, rather than just rolling in to work or to your workout or whatever it is and just, I better just power through this, get it done. It's like you have in mind the goal.
And you're visualizing it and you're feeling it and you're like, every little thing is one step closer to building that. And it doesn't have to be a number, but to not get too specific, we pretty much doubled our goal of what was to be true, of where we're going to be at the end of the year. And initially, the shift was huge, and the amount of thing, and we have to keep, reminding ourselves these things. Like, it can't just be a one-time thing, and then you get excited for a week and you fall back. It's like, you have to, like, we've got things on the walls, we've got reminders, like, we need to be doing this by then. What is this gym going to become? But not focusing also, I think, people get so caught up in numbers, and it's like, that's not what this gym is also about. It's moving from ego to purpose, intention, and unlocking that potential through changing your mentality from a victim to a creator, creating that circumstance by allowing yourself to think and dream bigger.
Made a huge difference for me with my work ethic, and I don't know, I don't like to what's the word? I like to think my work ethic was already quite good, or it wasn't bad anyway. But then seeing that, just the feeling of I could be doing so much more. It may sound like a negative thing, but it's a really positive thing for me, because you realise how much more time in the day and how much more you can be getting done.
It's funny you say that, because that was literally what I was thinking. Like, one of the biggest shifts for me when we did change that goal was how I see time now. Like, I have a few hours of free time. I'm like, fuck, this is so much free time to just do nothing. And it's the same thing of what you can do in a day is your mindset around time. Like, or you say you were too busy, I don't have time to do this, or I'm working too much. Or if you really connected with that purpose, like, your whole mindset around time changes so much. Because you see time, you're like, I could be doing this 1 hour, I could be doing this, this, and this, which would do that, which could produce this reaction. It's like you're really trying to break out of everything you've been told by everyone around you. Like, you are this way because of this. This is your circumstance because of this. I'm stuck in this job because of that. You can break out of that. It's crazy how much more creative and how many more things you can do to actually create a new circumstance in your life. You've got to decide with such firm intention that a reality is possible, and let go of it, and that you'll figure it out. And it's crazy when you let go of all the reasons why you can't do things. You can see all the reasons that you can in front of you, and things that you can be doing right now in the moment to progress forward. You have to let go of that past experience of who you are, of who you've been told you are by your friends, your family, the media, everything that isn't serving you. When I was really unhappy, I was like, I don't want to feel the way I feel now, but I know I can be doing so much more than I am. I'm not sure how. I'd always start my day with it was just a simple thing. Like, I'd watch a positive motivational video and find some uplifting information on the internet. Like, it's there. I'd stop watching the news. I would zone out to people who I could tell were just about themselves. Like they don't want it for you.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to be positive in a group full of people that are complaining about everything all the time.
Yeah, exactly. You get caught in that trap. When you're comparing and complaining, you're not creating. You're not thinking of what you have now around you in your current situation to move forward, because it's uncomfortable, it's unfamiliar. You need to be able to step into that unknown and just fucking do it and believe in yourself. And you can change the way you feel and believe about certain things, but it just takes consistent, constant awareness.
Yeah, self-awareness. Comes back to self-awareness. It's easy to start complaining about something. I think humans are almost naturally wired to do that. Almost everyone's natural reaction is to complain about something, but if you can find something good about every situation, it really changes your whole mindset about everything, and catch yourself doing it when you start to do it.
We are meaning creating machines, and if we're unconscious, we're going to create so much negative meaning around everything that's happening to us in our lives. But we can decide to see it as an opportunity and choose the meaning of like, okay, what have I learned from this? Now take that, move forward, don't identify with it, and grow from it. If everyone's just complaining about, the world we live in, COVID could happen at any time, it could be shut down at any time, like there's all these things, they might be true, but are they serving you? And like, have you decided that you're going to create your own circumstances independent of everything that's going in your life? Or are you going to keep saying to yourself, I can't do it because of this, and this?
There can be two people in the exact same situation. One person's just constantly sees how bad everything is and complains about their job and like how far they got to travel and everything. Guy right next to him who lives next door to him and works at the same place could be happy about it. It's like, I get to listen to a podcast on the way to work. Luckily, I have such a long way to drive, so I can get through a whole one. And then, I'm so lucky that I got a job, even though heaps of people are getting laid off at the moment. Two exact same situations, but completely different to each individual person depending on their mindset around each individual aspect of that situation. So basically just trying to say that your situation can pretty much be whatever you want it to be. You can view it any way you like. It's positive or negative.
This is your choice. Like, they're always self-imposed limits. Like, maybe something happened to you and you've decided to create some meaning about who you are because of it. But what you have to realize is you are the one who decided that meaning, no one else. Maybe it wasn't very pleasant or it didn't feel very good and for a long time, but you can decide to let go of that and create a new meaning around what you are and how you deal with things and how you move forward. But if you don't have even that awareness that it's there, it's just going to keep running you until and before you know it, you're 40 years old and you're fucking... you haven't done any of the things that you wanted to do. You had that little voice in your head, but you just didn't ever listen to it or allow it to manifest and grow into something bigger or stronger. You never tested yourself. And for me, that's like the scariest thing ever, is getting to the end of my life and being like, I had this voice there and I just ignored it. And I decided that all these things were stronger than me, essentially, when like that's all not true. It's just you decide you have power. You have to realize you have power to change these things. Limiting beliefs, like your actions are only going to reflect your beliefs. You can't force it for that long. You have to change that belief, and to do that, that's going to take a bit of work on yourself.
It's pretty confronting to think about something that you've wanted to do for a long time. For example, you wanted to start your side hustle selling, I don't know, t-shirts or stickers or whatever from your house. And it's like, oh, that'd be cool. Like one day if I could just do that as my full-time job. It's in the back of your mind, but you never sort of do anything about it. It's like, what's stopping you from going online on your lunch break at work, buying that business name that you want, and actually ordering a couple of samples and starting? It's super hard to make those first steps, but there's literally nothing stopping you except fear. It's
just fear, which you have to let go of and not be ruled by. It's like, oh, my friends, what do they think if I fail? What will my parents say? All these things, you've just got to practice not giving a fuck. Yeah. And the funny thing is, the more you start not giving a fuck about things, the more easy everything else becomes. If you can just focus on the things that actually matter and brush off the things that don't, then you're just going to keep moving forward. Like you said, that belief and that fear is incredibly confronting. I kept looking down here at this journal, and so every book we have a section at the start of the letting go of one limiting belief. Just one limiting belief that you look in and you're like, fuck, I believe this to be true. How am I going to move forward if I don't address this and have a massive ripple effect in your life? We understand these are confronting. It's not easy. That's why we've got this here once. But there are exercises and information out there to change these things. But you've got to really want to, and it's uncomfortable. So the quote from Tony Robbins is, when we feel pain in one time zone, past, present, or future, we switch to another zone rather than change, because change brings so much uncertainty and so much instability and so much fear to people. So with the exercise, you have to realize what the belief is that is not serving you, and you have to let it go. And the way to do that is to feel the acute handicapping pain of it and let it go. What's the belief? Like what does it cost you in the past? And like really see it, hear it, feel it. Like it's painful. It's like, what have you lost because of it? What is it costing you and the people you care about? Once you feel that pain, you realize that the belief that you created to actually protect yourself. Like, we unconsciously have these beliefs because we don't want to be uncomfortable. We don't want to be embarrassed. We don't want to be ridiculed, and we don't want to be hurt in any way. So we create these unconscious beliefs. the paradox is you holding on to the belief that you created to protect yourself from that negative experience that you created is holding you back and hurting you so much fucking more than the actual experience that created it. And then you replace it with something better, something more empowering. We have like examples here with the gym. Like I don't have time. Not very deep one, but it's a great place to start. That belief alone, something so simple as I don't have time, like your excuse is always I don't have time, like you replace with I have a lot of time. Once I prioritize my training, organize my schedule, I can then create all the time I need to achieve my desired result. Like you can get as deep as you want with these things until you feel that pain, become present to the moment when you do so. Is it going to change? Like I've used this for a couple and it was really uncomfortable, and it wasn't until a few months later I was like, I don't actually believe this thing to be true anymore. And there's so many levels to this. Like the one that I let go of was I'm an anxious person, and changing that belief to I have learned to be anxious through being unconscious in the environment around me and learning that's the way to react, is to always be on edge and always be ready for the worst case scenario, so that if it ever does happen, you need to be ready to actually know I'm a calm, happy person, and anything that comes about, I can deal with it and I can move forward, and nothing is going to stop me. And it wasn't until later that I was like, fuck that, I actually am really starting to believe that now. That's a big tangent, but the point of that is change your beliefs. And that's what we did when we changed our goal. We changed our belief, and our actions reflected it. Your actions are always going to reflect what you to be true. Like if you don't think you can do something or it's who you are, you're never going to get the result.
Yeah, we call those limiting beliefs. Something that you believe to be true about yourself or about a situation that is holding you back in some way. So Oren's example, he believed that he was an anxious person. He told himself that.
And just perpetuated it. I became more anxious. I got to a point where I really struggled to get out of bed in the morning. And
it gives you an excuse too.
I had the evidence there. You know, you pick a moment in time to believe it was true. Like you've given yourself evidence unconsciously about that thing, and then you perpetuate it, and then the anxiety gets worse, and you find more and more reasons, and then you seem to get more and more problems pop up in your life. That was something that I had learned. Like that is, you gotta realize these beliefs, they're not yours. They've been passed on. You weren't born anxious or fucking afraid. Like a child believes fucking anything like to be possible, and we're told no, and that's not true, and you can't do things, and we're all conditioned that way. But if we decide we want to change, these things have to come first. And it can't just be, I'm happy, everything's good. It has to be, you need to take the time to feel that and let it go and realize that it was never yours to begin with.
You were saying before that you're basically basing it on what people have told you or what you've learned. With me personally, one that I have would be that I'm a quiet person. And people have always told me that. My whole life, people have told me that. Obviously, like a bunch of different people telling you the same thing over and over again. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm a quiet person. Cool. That's just who I am. Which is fine. I had no issues with that, but maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should have had an issue with that because I believed it. I just said, yeah, okay, I'm not going to go out of my way to talk to people because I know I'm a quiet person. I've never practiced like being outgoing and starting conversation and talking to people, which is really important in this business because especially a new person coming in looking to sign up, like I have to be almost like a little bit outgoing and a bit excited and over the top, which I've sort of practiced the opposite of my whole life. Quiet and not really getting too excited about anything, which has been like something that I realised I was doing, and I didn't have to be like that. You know, a little while ago, I realised that I can change that. I don't have to be a quiet person. It's just what I've learnt over the years.
It's not who you are. Like you might have had some tendencies, but then it just got amplified, and you identified as that.
Yeah, everyone else was telling me it, so I'm like, yeah, cool, that's me.
Yeah, and yeah, it's like we are who we identify to be. You decide what is true. You create your reality. No matter what is going on, you can decide your reaction to it. And that comes back to unlocking your potential. Like you can say you want everything in the world, but
everyone says they want to have $1 million. but then actually think about, okay, how will I get $1 million? My business doing this many sales, or I'm going to need to invest in this and then get this many tenants in my property. And then actually thinking about it, a lot more daunting, because you realize you're actually capable of doing that. And then you got to figure out how to do it and actually follow through as well. It's a lot easier to just be like, oh, I wish I had $1 million. Some people are lucky. So that's sort of our situation here is, well, I don't know about you, but I used to look at big gyms and be like, oh yeah, it must be cool to just have like a franchise and everything is done for you. And you just get all your advertising done and, you know, you set up a new one and just start making millions. Oh, wait a minute. We could actually have a gym the size of those franchises, but better. Like our gym could even be better. And that's almost like a scary thought. You're like, oh shit, I could actually do that. I better get to work.
Even you're saying that's daunting for people to just even to think about the $1 million, and like right now, like that thought is for you a little bit daunting, and same for me. Keep entertaining that thought. What needs to happen to get there? And we can get there. It'll feel uncomfortable at the start because it's completely unknown.
It makes me feel excited.
Yeah, that's good.
Keeps you interested in whatever you're doing. Because if we don't have a big goal for the gym, it gets monotonous, just doing sort of the same thing every day and just chipping away at stuff that needs to be done. But when you have that bigger picture in mind, that's when you start to look for other things that you can be doing instead of things that you have to be doing. It's like creating these new pieces of content that we're creating now. So we don't need to do that. We're just doing it because we want to, because we want to build the best gym possible. It's part of that bigger goal.
Yeah. Well, going to the gym to be like, it's not just going to the gym, it's you feel like you're a part of something. You feel like you know us. Like that's part of the purpose of these podcasts. Like we try and have conversations with everyone, but sometimes it's hard. We want you to have a feel of the challenges that we go through and why it is important to us. And, you know, just going to the gym and being able to influence people to think greater and feel greater. And the gym is just a tool to enhance your life and build the habits necessary to go after the things that you want, to build that confidence. You know, every time we do something in here, it's exciting for both of us, because it's like, yeah, we get to train on this, but it's like, there's however many members who will get to use this piece of equipment and they're going to benefit and they're going to have fun on it. And that's one of the things people love about coming here, is that they know we really consciously try to make it better. And every couple of weeks there's something new. And they're like, oh, that's cool. See that in there? Like, they get a little kick out of it. And I just fucking love that.
Exhibit A.
Yeah. Like, another reflection of what it's about. Like,
So we started off there with knowing your potential, or being able to see your potential, setting your sights for something greater. And then realizing that your circumstances can be different depending on how you see them and how you tell yourself things are around you. And also the people you surround yourself with can make a huge difference to how you see your environment and how you see your current situation. Becoming self-aware of when you're complaining about things and what you're complaining about, turning that around and actually being able to see the positives of your situation.
choosing the meaning around everything.
So we touched on limiting beliefs as well. So just realizing there is something that you tell yourself that you believe is true that's actually holding you back. That's not necessarily true, and you've just been told by people, or you've been telling yourself, and then just replacing that with something that can actually benefit you.
That's why that's at the start of our journal, because that needs to come first. Because you can be trying really hard for 2 weeks, but if you have this self-sabotaging belief there, that is just telling you that you're the opposite of that.
We use time as an example in that one, because that is a huge one. Almost everyone will tell you they don't have enough time, but everyone's got the same amount of time in the day. And some of us have built billion-dollar corporations, and some of us don't do a whole lot. So everyone has the same amount of time. It's just a matter of how you use it.
That being said, just make sure you're happy. Like, that's just Ryan and I. Like, this is our personal experience here. Like, what you choose is important and meaningful to you, and what makes you happy most of the time will be completely different to that. This is what gets us excited, why we do what we do. I hope that people get a feel for that out of it, but it comes back. No, don't compare yourself to anyone or what we've been speaking about. Find what's true for you and what excites you and what actually gives you genuine happiness. And if you aren't doing what makes you happy and you want to do more, you're going to have to take responsibility of those things. Stop stop being a victim and giving yourself reasons why circumstances are the way they are. Think about what you have around you right now to make that change, and the ripple effect will be massive, absolutely massive.
So
Cool.
on that, we'll catch you in the next episode.
Yep, awesome.